When Farmer Ben saw that his horse was pregnant, he was full of joy. It meant that he was about to have another horse, which could lead to more financial wealth if it was a good horse. After waiting for months, the moment was nearly there. The horse was about to give birth, but strangely enough, it refused to give birth while having a giant stomach. Ben decided to go to the local vet to make an ultrasound. When the vet saw the ultrasound, he immediately called the police. When the police finally arrived, they could help him to sedate the now very weak giant horse. But the police did not only help the vet, they also came to Ben. "Sir, we need you to come with us. It is important." Ben was shell-shocked. What did he do wrong? Ben answered questions about himself and the horse that he owned since his youth. When he was done answering those questions, he heard disbelief from the surgery room. "I can't believe this," said the vet. But what did the vet find inside the horse that he was so incredibly surprised by? Before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. For almost a year now, Ben's horse has been pregnant. Ben had really wanted a second horse, and since he loved his horse, whose name is Felicia, so much he decided to make sure Felicia could give birth to a new horse, but that was not easy. Ben had to find someone that was classified to legally impregnate his horse. Months passed by, and he could not find anyone who could do this legally. Ben wondered if he had to accept that it was not possible what he wanted, and that he should look to buy a horse instead. Short notice, so within days the man stood in front of Ben's house and made sure Felicia got pregnant. But finally, after months of searching for the right person, Ben found his guy. This man was available, and it had been a long and slow process. But in the end, Ben got what he wanted. After a week or two, Ben called the vet to make the first ultrasound to check whether Felicia was really pregnant. After doing the ultrasound, the vet revealed the news. The procedure had been a success. Felicia was pregnant. The vet checked the horse, and everything seemed to be okay with both the horse and its child. But later in the pregnancy, things did not go as planned. At first, Felicia wasn't able to sleep as much as she did before her pregnancy. But next to that, Ben was not able to walk with her in her stables anymore, which was something she really liked before that. But Ben couldn't figure out why this was the case. Felicia became more and more restless during the pregnancy. Ben thought that this would be over soon since the vet guaranteed him that this was normal, but in the week that she was supposed to give birth to its little foal, she reached boiling point. Ben had prepared everything for the delivery to make sure everything went smooth, but Felicia simply refused to give birth. Ben could do nothing else than just call the vet, but Ben had to answer questions he did not expect. The vet asked Ben how Felicia exactly behaved. Ben explained that she was restless at first, but that she now barely moved anymore. The vet was shocked by Ben's answers and explained to Ben that he needed to make sure Felicia laid on the ground in the right way. The vet explained that Ben had to stretch out Felicia completely, as it might be the time that she would give birth to a new foal. But stretching Felicia wasn't exactly easy, as she came across as quite aggressive. Ben feared being attacked by his own horse. He was hesitating. Was it really smart to do this? What if she would really attack Ben? Things could not end well in that case, both for Ben and his horse. Wasn't there another way? The vet told Ben that this really was the only way to make sure his horse and its foal would both survive. After hearing that, Ben made sure he approached Felicia calmly. When he was close, he made sure he positioned himself in the right way to make sure everything Felicia experienced would be painless. After Ben successfully stretched out Felicia, he noticed a little bulge that he hadn't seen before. It felt pointy and hard. What could it be? Was his horse okay? Ben immediately asked the vet whether Felicia would be okay, but the vet's answer was not really comforting. The vet's tone changed, and the only thing he said was, "I have to do an ultrasound. I'm coming right away." The vet told Ben that he had to calm down. He would be there within 30 minutes, but the vet also decided to take some extra measures. The vet looked up the most recent ultrasound he still had of Felicia and inspected it again, a lot more closely this time, and then he suddenly saw what could potentially be the cause of the strange bulge. And the vet immediately thought back to another horse that he had discovered this on recently. And in that previous case, the police ended up having to get involved. So, out of precaution, the vet decided to give them a call to inform them about what they had found. They agreed that the vet would first check it out for himself, and if his suspicions were confirmed, he would call them again immediately. But to get to Ben's location was a challenge in itself. The vet did not notice that it was actually rush hour, so he got stuck in traffic for way longer than he had imagined. The vet knew he had to get to the horse as fast as possible to have the best chance for Felicia to give birth to her foal. As Ben stressed more and more, he proposed that one of his friends would pick the vet up with a motorbike so that she could be here as soon as possible. The vet agreed to this idea, so she went back to his clinic waiting to be picked up by one of Ben's closest friends. He was stressed out too, as he knew the police were waiting for an answer. Ben's friend picked up the vet from his clinic, and within minutes, they were at Ben's ranch. The vet immediately started with her examination, as Felicia wasn't moving at all. But when the vet came closer, she suddenly started to move again. The vet now needed to seduce Felicia, to make sure she was not dangerous for himself and Ben anymore. But seducing this horse was not easy at all. The vet needed all the help he could get. Felicia got more and more aggressive. So at first, Ben and his friend took some distance hoping that Felicia would calm down. But that wasn't the case. What should he do now? The vet knew that he had only one other option. The vet could use heavier medicines that could be injected from a distance, but that was not without risks. There was a possibility that Felicia and its foal would not survive this. The vet asked Ben what he wanted. Ben was split between thoughts. This was such a hard choice. Ben knew that this could end very badly if he'd make the wrong choice. But what was the wrong choice exactly? He thoroughly thought about both options and asked the vet what risks were attached to either choice. After a long process, he decided with his heart instead of his head. Ben knew that he had to seduce Felicia to make sure she could give birth properly, so he gave permission to the vet to use heavier medicines. But first, they had to bring themselves to safety as Felicia got more aggressive. The vet instructed Ben and his friend to slowly leave the stables, but Felicia did not exactly welcome that idea. She got even more aggressive than she did before, so Ben hesitated to leave her like this. Was it all worth it? Felicia did not only seem to be restless, but also in pain. Was this just about the pregnancy, or could the vet discovery also have something to do with this? She needed to be seduced rather sooner than later for her own good. So Ben walked away more quickly than planned. After this, the vet could do his job. With Ben and his friend being away, the vet prepared the medicines and seduced Felicia. After a few minutes of waiting until she was asleep, he started to prepare the ultrasound he was about to make. These should provide definitive answers about the pregnancy and the strange bulge. Performing the ultrasound was not as easy as it first looked, since Felicia was not in an ideal position due to her restlessness. The vet asked if Ben could assist him with stretching her in a good position. After this, the vet could finally perform the ultrasound. While performing the ultrasound, the vet's tone changed. Slowly it went from optimistic to pessimistic. Ben noticed this, but was afraid that he would keep the vet out of its focus. Later, he wished he'd asked him sooner. After minutes of inspecting the ultrasound, the vet told Ben that he had to make a phone call that was urgent. But Ben did not know who the vet wanted to call, as the vet had not told him anything specific about the bulge and his fears yet. Ben panicked at first. Were his two horses okay? When the vet returned, he quickly assured Ben that his horses were healthy, but Felicia needed rest before giving birth to her foal. As Ben agreed, they went back inside the ranch, but moments later, Ben heard the sound of police arriving. Confused, Ben soon realized the vet had called them. The vet explained that Felicia needed surgery because he found something unusual in her belly along with the foal. He needed police assistance with specialized equipment for the procedure. Though still unsure, Ben allowed the officers in. A police officer approached Ben and said, "Sir, you need to come with us for questioning." Ben, puzzled and nervous, complied since he had nothing to hide. The officers began with routine questions to confirm his identity and ownership of the horse. But their questions soon turned strange, delving into how Felicia got pregnant. Ben explained that he'd hired an expert after verifying their credentials and legality, even showing proof to the officers. They acknowledged this but pressed for more information. The police then showed Ben mugshots of various individuals. To his shock, one face stood out. It was the expert who helped Felicia conceive. Ben couldn't believe he was a suspect, and anxiety gripped him as he wondered what the man had done to Felicia. The police explained that the expert was involved in criminal activities, and this wasn't the first time he tampered with a horse. The vet had discovered an unlicensed medical chip inside Felicia's belly during an ultrasound, identical to one found in another case. The vet immediately alerted the police. During the surgery, the chip was successfully removed with the help of police experts, but the surgery revealed something even more astonishing. A rare foal was about to be born. The vet explained that such a specimen was incredibly rare and potentially worth a fortune. Once the surgery was complete, Felicia gave birth to the extraordinary foal. The vet marveled at the uniqueness of the foal, calling it a one-in-a-million occurrence. Despite its immense value, Ben decided to keep the foal, naming it Siempre. He felt an unbreakable bond with the new addition to his ranch. Meanwhile, the police tracked down and arrested the expert responsible for the illegal activities. With Felicia recovering and Siempre thriving, Ben could finally enjoy life on his ranch, cherishing the horses that had become a part of his family. After all the challenges and unexpected twists, Ben's story reminds us of the incredible bond between humans and animals, and how even in the face of uncertainty, resilience can lead to something truly extraordinary. Felicia and her rare foal, Siempre, now stand as a symbol of hope and new beginnings for Ben. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more captivating tales, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video to keep the adventure alive. See you in the next story.